Hello and welcome to the Rask Network. What you're about to hear and see is limited to general financial information only. Please be sure to speak to your financial planner or refer to our financial services guide available at rask.com.au/FSG before acting on the information.
Welcome back to the Australian Business Podcast. Today, I'm joined by Zara. Zara, how are you going?
Good. Jordan, how are you?
Good. We're doing something a little bit different today. We've got video, lights,
yes, we
camera
do.
action.
Yeah,
It's
we're all
happening.
set up.
In Sydney. Mm-hmm. How was your flight over?
Good. Did a bit of work. Watched a bit of Gilmore Girls.
Nice. Gilmore Girls. Haven't seen that one.
I've never seen it and someone told me to get onto it, so I'm giving it a go.
Nice. And how's it going so far?
One episode in and I don't mind it.
That's all right. Usually it's one and done. So if you're considering watching another one, it's good signs. Today we're talking about online presence.
Yes.
And building a website and how to create a website that converts. Mm-hmm. So in your eyes, what does that look like?
So I think there's a few things that are sort of involved in creating a website, but I think at the end of the day, it really comes down to building a presence to help you build credibility and trust, right? So the benefits obviously of having a really high converting website is that you're getting more traffic, you're getting more sales, your customers are having a better experience on your website, which is also a reflection of your brand. So super important, and I think it's going to be a really good one to dig into for both e-com and service-based businesses.
Yeah, 100%. And I know I can only speak for the service-based businesses, but that's something that we've started to focus on at Grayspace, that SEO side of things.
Yep.
I know that it ties into the website, but making sure that our clients, we're doing blogs and we want to make sure that our clients can see that we know what we're talking about essentially. So building that brand credibility. Mm-hmm. And I know that having a website, it's something you wouldn't even think about, but having one that's operational 24/7.
Yeah.
I know we had an issue with a client a couple of weeks ago where they had that problem and it kept just not working.
Yeah.
So
kept breaking.
Yeah. So super important that's always operational. So you're right, there is a few things to go into. So in terms of the key elements of a website that converts, and again, it's not just making it look pretty. We want to make sure we're converting visitors into customers. And what does that look like?
Yeah. So I think, thinking about, showing up in the best way possible.
Yep.
So again, like you said, it is about visually showing up and having a really aesthetically pleasing website, but also super easy to navigate. So we want to make sure that, your menus are really easy to navigate, that your content is really clear. If you are a service provider and you've got accreditations, making sure that you're featuring those on your website so that you're building trust and credibility with potential customers as well. And then having really clear call to action. So what I mean by that is if it's a service-based business, if you want someone to send an inquiry as opposed to if you want someone to give you a phone call, making sure that that's really clear. Or if you're an e-commerce based business, then you have your shop now or your buy now or your add to cart button above the fold. And so that essentially just means above the fold means before somebody has to scroll down the page to hit add to cart.
That's an interesting one, the call to actions, because a lot of the times when we're doing a website or getting a website built, we don't even think of that stuff. It's like back of mind, but it's probably one of the most important things.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, we want to convert those visitors into customers.
Yeah.
Do you have any other examples for, say, a service-based business to have some good call to actions?
Yeah. I mean, if it was like you were trying to get leads, for example, then there could be like a registration form or an inquiry form. Maybe you've got a lead magnet that people could be.
What's a lead magnet?
Yeah, good question. So it could be something that that people want.
Yep.
So for example, in the accounting space, you do tax returns for people with investment properties.
Yep.
You know that they might want a checklist to help them maximize their return,
yep.
right? So maybe what you do is you create a free resource or a free downloadable checklist. But in order for people to access that checklist, they have to give you their email address first.
Right.
So it's a magnet to help drive leads into your business.
Okay, cool.
But the resource that you're creating is really important because it's something that people are going to want to use anyway. And so you're sharing information and education, which then also helps to bolster your credibility and trust with potential customers as well, and it builds your value.
Okay, cool. And if I was a e-com business, could I be doing the same thing, or is it a bit different for an e-com business?
No, absolutely. You know, if you were a skincare company or a sunscreen company, maybe someone's coming to your website for the first time, they haven't used your product before. Maybe what you could do is like a online quiz that people can fill out a bunch of different questions about their skin type, whether it's, you know, what their complexion is, whether it's oily, whether they get acne, those kinds of things. And then based on people's responses, you send them a specific product that suits what their skincare need, what their skin type is. But in order to send that specific product to them, you capture their email address first.
Okay. So you want to capture some type of, whether it's email or phone number, so you can then retarget or send emails to them.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, cool. And we spoke a bit about putting some content together. What does that look like? Again, maybe we can do an example for service-based business and then an example for e-com businesses too.
Yeah, so content for a service-based business, for example, could be like blog content.
Yep.
So again, kind of diving into that SEO component, really making sure that what's being created is what people want to know about and what people are interested in.
Yep.
So doing some SEO research, using platforms and tools like SEMrush, Google Console, like all those kinds of things that people can research, find out what people are searching for, and what keywords people are interested in, and then they can create content centered around that. So then it performs better on their website. And the goal of that is to increase the traffic that you're getting across to your website. Yeah,
cool. And I guess diving into that, SEO being a main component of like why we have a website and how we can drive traffic to that website. Do you want to just give a quick overview of what SEO is and how it all ties in?
Mm-hmm. So SEO is search engine optimization. And so it essentially is a way that you can improve the performance of your website so that when people are using platforms like Google or Bing or whatever it might be, a search platform, that your website ranks higher organically. Because you have created a whole bunch of content, so written a whole lot of blogs centered around that search, those search terms. So there's a few different ways that we kind of talk about SEO. So there's on-page SEO, which is kind of your product descriptions. That's your blogs. That's kind of like headings, metadata, those kinds of meta descriptions, those kinds of things. And then there's technical SEO, which is, you know, like mobile optimization. So at the moment, you know, it's like 80% of customers visit a website for the first time via mobile. So making sure that your website is optimized for mobile is key. So the other thing is making sure that it loads quickly. We don't really want to wait around anymore. And so if you have a slow load time for your website, there's a chance that people are going to bounce and they're going to give up on your website and they're going to go to a competitor.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, me personally, if I was on a website and it didn't load for whatever reason or it took 4 or 5 seconds, I'd be thinking, scam. Well, there's an issue here. So, yeah, super important. It's an interesting one with the keyword research as well. Just to talk about that, for a service-based business, there's 2 different, I guess, types. So if you're a service-based business, say you're a plumber and you have like your services pages. So unblocking block drains, bathroom renovations, whatever the service is that you're going to deliver, and you talk through those services. Again, they'll be targeted around the keywords. But we've done a couple of podcast episodes around SEO because it's its own beast in itself. So just talking very high level, the service-based pages, and then there's the blogs as well. So these 2 different types of blogs have the different keyword intent, informational, I can't remember the other one, transactional, I think it may be. So it's super important that you have a well-versed SEO strategy and cover all the bases on it. And there's a few different tools to help with this stuff as well. There's Google Keyword Planner, which I believe is free. There's SEMrush for keyword research as well, which is what I've played around with. And I know Owen's done a fantastic job with the whole Rask group, and he doesn't use that at all. And his traffic's crazy. So go Owen. But for me, I like to use SEMrush just to learn as well. I think it's really easy to navigate, and there's heaps of tutorial videos on it too. But I think SEO, in terms of website and building a website that converts, it's really a non-negotiable because it's traffic that you're not paying for. You may be paying an agency, or you may be investing your time, but it's not like you're paying for ads where it's every time someone's clicking on it, it's costing you something. So me personally, I think that's a non-negotiable. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. And, it grows over time. And once the performance of your website starts to improve and the algorithm starts to see your website improving, the performance of your website improving, that all, goes in your favor as well. So I think SEO is sort of a non-negotiable. And if you can't afford an agency, then super important to do the research and start figuring out how you can implement it yourself.
100%. At a bare minimum, have a go yourself. There's heaps of content on YouTube. So SEO is a non-negotiable when we're talking about creating a website that converts, because at the end of the day, if there's no traffic, there's nothing to convert.
Yeah.
So super important.
Absolutely.
And we also mentioned high quality content. Now, I know there's a bit of SEO in this portion too, but where does creating an overall high quality content sit on the scale of creating a website that converts?
So it could also be, I guess we haven't kind of dived into the e-com part of it yet either, and how that kind of translates. So thinking about the products that you're putting up, making sure that the quality of the imagery that you're including on your website is really high. But then also your descriptions. Are they detailed? Are they engaging? What is the quality of those descriptions? Are they persuasive at getting people to click buy now or add to cart or whatever it might be? And then I think even going further to understand ways that we can continue to build trust and build relationships with customers, and thinking about like reviews and testimonials. Product reviews, service reviews, again, that's relevant to both e-com and service-based businesses, but it also helps to bring new customers because it reduces the risk, right? So if I can see that 400 people have, left a review with this business, or they've liked this product, or they've used this product, and these have been the results of using this skincare product, then I know as a new customer that my risk is much lower to engage and buy this product or work with this service.
Yeah, 100%. I think customer testimonials are one of the sleeping giants that people don't talk about.
Yeah.
I think it's so important.
Yeah.
I know when I'm shopping for whatever it may be, if someone has heaps of reviews, that buying decision is so much easier.
Yeah.
And I think it's the same for e-com, and it's the same for maybe not so much e-com. I don't know. Do you think it's the same for e-com or more so for service-based businesses, those reviews?
I think it's super important. I think when we're talking about e-com, sometimes it comes in different forms too. Like obviously there's product reviews, like on-page product reviews, which I still think are super important. If you see that there's a new skincare product that's come out, and I'm using skincare because I think it's one it's so easy to relate to product reviews, right? Because there's before and afters.
Yep.
It's clear that this moisturizer works, or it's clear that this serum works. Or if I have acne, then it's very clear that this product has worked over a 4 to 6 week period. So, I think it's really important to have those product reviews, but then also thinking about taking it more into the social space, and that visual space is like customer testimonials, like video reviews is also really important.
Yeah.
Again, kind of showing people, not just telling people, but showing people that things work, that products work, or that services work, I think is super important. So I think, depending on the industry, it doesn't really matter. I think that at the end of the day, we all want to reduce our risk of buying from or working with a new company. And that's what those case studies, customer testimonials, reviews, that's what all of it does. In
terms of those customer testimonials, are there any tips that you can give listeners on how to get those and start that conversation? Because sometimes that's a bit of a tough one to ask for.
Yep. Yeah, totally. I think if you have like a group of loyalists or brand ambassadors that are already kind of, putting up Instagram stories, tagging your content, talking about how much they love the product on socials, that kind of thing, that can be a stepping stone into that conversation. So open up the conversation. I would be, I guess, hesitant around, just personally, around sending product out to people that haven't used or aren't necessarily aligned with your product or your business. Because I think it's really obvious nowadays when there's a genuine review or a genuine testimonial versus like a paid partnership. So I think if you're already having those conversations or you're already seeing that feedback from people, then spark up the conversation. And it could be that maybe they've bought from you 4 times over the course of 12 months or 6 months or whatever, however long the product lasts. Then you could say, hey, look, I noticed that you've bought this product a lot. You obviously really like it. I want to show you that I value your loyalty. if you'd be open to it, I'll give you product for free for the next 6 months if you will do X.
Yeah.
And so it's something that person's going to buy from you anyway. They already love the product. They're already sharing your product on their own social media feed, or they're writing a review on the product page anyway. And so it's just kind of, I guess, as a business, rewarding them and saying, hey, thanks for your loyalty.
Yeah.
And then that's starting to create those reviews. I mean, outside of that, you can also then start like tapping into like email marketing. You know, you can set up like a customer review kind of email flow. Once someone's purchased a product, a delay of 90 days, send them a did you like this product? Did you like this service? We'd love to know about it. Leave us a review. So it's a few different ways that you can go about it. Obviously quite organic. You can do it as like a post-purchase thing. But yeah, I think at the end of the day, it's like you said, a sleeping giant.
Yeah. Sleeping giant. I don't know how I came up with that one.
Yeah,
but
I've never heard that before, but I don't mind it.
Yeah, I like it. I don't know. Maybe it's because, there's no reason. I don't know how I came up with that. Another one for service-based businesses as well is if it's a tricky conversation, because it's face-to-face, it's not an email where it's easy to send, like because there's emotions that start to come out when you're asking people for things.
Yep.
Have a prepared like 5 questions.
Yeah.
And offer something similar, whether it's a discount if it's those loyal customers, and have those pre-prepared questions so it's so much easier.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to ask for a review and then have no idea what you want to ask the customer.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
yeah. Give them prompts.
Yeah, exactly.
Make it easy for them.
Exactly. So just make it part of that, I guess, if you're a service-based business, that post-job process where you're asking for a Google review. If it's a customer that you've had a couple of times, ask them for a video review and have your 5 questions on your phone, and you can just shoot it on your phone.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be a big production. So super important. And onto those reviews with the Google reviews and why that's important to set up your Google My Business. They can be pulled into your website, and they can sit on your website on majority of the pages. So if it's a 5-star review, you don't want any 1-star reviews on your website, but it's a 5-star review, and whatever that customer has written, you can then have that on your website on I know on our website, I think it's a banner.
Yep.
So again, just really building that credibility.
And they're called trust banners. That's what we call them.
There you go.
And so trust banners involve reviews. It can involve like accreditations.
Yes.
It can involve if you've been featured in certain magazines or on, the Today Show, all of these things that a banner of information essentially that helps to build trust with customers.
Yeah. One that I've seen, and it goes into the topic of sort of storytelling and recording videos. I've seen some service-based businesses will do like a day in the life.
Yeah.
Where it'll be like packing up. It was actually a plumber that I saw where they're packing up their toolboxes and getting ready to go to a house. And it's really relatable because it's like, oh, okay, cool. It's just a normal house. It's not like super flashy, whatever. I think that's super cool, super relatable as well.
Yeah.
Again, it's more so like maybe Instagram content. Maybe it's a bit different. But I know there is a website. I'm not going to say who it is, but it's literally the first page, the whole page. It's just a video of like a day in the life. It's super interesting and a bit different. I hadn't seen that before.
I think it's also engaging.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we want to know, again, like you said, it's probably a little bit of a different conversation, but we want to know about the people behind the brands, who the founders are, what they're doing. Like we're in this age of, we don't have the brick and mortar kind of store engagement interaction that we used to have. A lot of it is online. And so I think the way that we can kind of build those relationships that we would have built going into a store, that's what that sort of relational content does.
Yeah. And it's interesting when we're talking about creating that high value content, it's just becoming so much clearer how important it is to just have like a really well-versed strategy.
Yes.
Because all of this stuff, it's like, cool, we've spoken about email marketing, we've spoken about Instagram and video, and it all ties in, but
it does.
It really does. And it's stuff that you can be cross-promoting across your different areas of the business.
Yeah, definitely.
In terms of user experience, and I know we've spoken briefly then, but how can we improve the user experience? And then once we get that traffic, email marketing, Instagram, whatever it may be, how can we then turn that traffic into conversions?
Yeah. So I think, like we mentioned, massive is mobile optimization.
Yeah.
So making sure that your website works on a mobile, so that, your menu moves from a typical kind of like a horizontal banner into like I call it a hamburger menu.
Oh, yeah.
In the top kind of corner, and it's like the three lines. Just things that are like very user friendly and easy to navigate. I think intuitive navigation is huge. So the ability for people to be able to say, "Yep, I've never visited this website before. I've never heard of this business, but I know how to get the information that I need." Because it makes sense. I know where to go to look at the services. I know where to go to book a service, or I know where to go to buy the product. So intuitive navigation, particularly on mobile, super important. I think, that load time that we spoke about as well is really key, making sure that your images load quickly, making sure that, there's nothing kind of holding up someone's ability to learn about your business.
Yeah.
Is pretty key.
Yeah, for sure. And I think some quick tips are try access your website on different devices, Android, Apple, different browsers, because there's so many different browsers.
Totally.
I use Google Chrome, and I think majority of people do, but there's the Microsoft one, Firefox, if that's still a thing. So super important to, yes, you're going to engage someone to do this most of the time, but at the end of the day, the buck stops with the business owner. So it's really important to do those checks.
Yep.
And then, like you said, with the speed, there's Google page speed as well. You can use to analyze the load times, but super important to constantly be revisiting this stuff too, especially if you're building out blogs and putting all of this load on the website and building out the website. You want to make sure that it's still super quick.
Yep. Yeah, Google Page Speed's a really good one because it shows you the speed for the desktop and the mobile.
Oh, okay.
Which is pretty key. So then as a business owner or as a web developer or whoever it is, you know what you need to focus on.
Yeah, cool. And I know we've spoken about tracking and analyzing performance in other episodes. How would that relate to websites?
So the benefit of something like Google Analytics, for example, helps us to understand like customer behavior or the behavior that someone is doing on our website. So if we're thinking about what pages people are visiting, what that kind of journey of pages is, like they start here and they end here, if they're converting, what pages are they converting on, what products are they buying, all of that kind of goes into the marketing to understand, okay, well, if we see that 50% of the time when people land on X product page or X service page, they book the service or they buy the product, as opposed to they do it 20% of the time on this page, 5% of the time on this page, and, so on and so on. So then what we say is, okay, well, we know that people are buying this product more than anything else. Okay, now what we can do is show that product or show off that service through our marketing. And I think it's really important to understand that your best-selling product might not necessarily be your highest converting product. And so what I mean by that is your best-selling product could just be maybe you've sold 200, but of, say, 300 sales. But your highest converting product means that every time someone lands on a particular page or a particular product, they convert, the percentage of them converting is much higher than them converting on any other page on your website. So it could be that maybe you've got 2 drink bottles, one's pink and one's blue. Maybe you sell more of the pink drink bottle, but 70% of the time when you send someone to the landing page of the blue drink bottle, it buys. Someone buys it. Whereas the pink, it only sells 25% of the time. So you have to send a lot more traffic there to get the same amount of sales as opposed to sending them to the blue drink bottle site. So essentially what you can do with that information, once you figure out what's converting, then you can say, okay, well, this is, where I'm going to start sending my website traffic, because as a customer or through my marketing efforts, I have to spend less money. I have to send less people to the website to get the same amount of sales. So that's really important.
Yeah, okay.
And I think it's something that's overlooked quite a lot.
Yeah. Super important, because that could be, you could be earning so much more of a margin on those products. It's so much easier to convert. And in terms of key metrics to look at, what are some metrics we should be looking at?
Bounce rate is a good one. So understanding of all of the people that are visiting your website, how many people are bailing, how many people are bouncing, because that could be indicative of, page speed. It could be indicative of like whether you're running Google ads and they're not as relevant to where you're sending people. That's really important, because then Google starts to kind of hinder your performance as a result. The quality of your ads start to decline. You can look at like the average time or duration that people are spending on the website. So that gives you an indication of when people do visit the site, how many pages are they looking at? How long are they spending on those pages? Are they reading the content again, or are they kind of landing on the page being like, it's not for me. Maybe you don't have any trust builders. Maybe you don't have any reviews. Maybe your payment options, maybe you don't have paying for or afterpay and those kinds of things. And so then it's really hard for someone to buy because they don't trust you, or they're going to go with a competitor. So again, it can help you to kind of understand, okay, what do we need to be doing to improve all of this? And then you've also got your conversion rate at the end of the day.
And in terms of testing these types of things, I know we're speaking about A/B testing for Facebook ads, but we can do the same for the website.
Yeah, so you could be sending people to different landing pages. You could be testing different call to actions. You could be, if you're had a single product, you could kind of create 2 landing pages for that one product, both of those sites are live, and then you could be running ads to each of those to see what's converting at a higher rate.
Okay, cool. Now, an interesting thing for me personally is when we created our first website, I thought, cool, website's done, set and forget. But it's just it's becoming so much clearer after all the conversations we've had and reading different things that it's something that you do constantly need to review. Do you have any tips around how to do that and how often to do that?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good one. Like if you work with an agency, you would probably get like a 30-day report, like at the end of every month. Wouldn't be a bad idea to just check on your website every month.
Make sure it works.
Make sure it works. I mean, make sure it works. Check that all the time. But in terms of some of those more like technical kind of back end things, check it once a month. Are there areas that you could be improving? Are there things that you could be doing to make the performance of the website better? I would say probably once a month, but check your website. Visit your website every week.
Non-negotiable.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Is there anything else our listeners need to be doing when creating a website that does convert?
I mean, I think we've covered quite a lot.
Yeah.
I think it's important to, if you are creating a website from scratch, then put it out there, potentially beta test it with some some of your friends, family, get them to kind of navigate through it. Because obviously as a business owner, if you're building the website, you're super familiar, you know exactly, or you think you know exactly what a customer would want. So your, I guess, navigation of the website might be different. So before you kind of set a website live, send it out to a few people, get them to navigate it and give you some feedback.
Yeah.
And then kind of make some tweaks and some changes. And then I think listening to your customers. If you get 20 notifications or 20 emails each month from customers saying that they didn't know how to find X on your website, that's probably a good indication that there's more than 20 people that didn't know how to find that page. So then go in and making those changes.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it's super important. People or business owners spend a lot of time on driving the traffic to the website. And I think this here about having a website that does convert is something that sometimes isn't even visited. It's just we'll drive traffic, whether it's email marketing, Facebook ads, Instagram, whatever it may be. And that's the main focus. Whereas you're sort of only covering 50% of what's going on because you still need to convert that traffic. And yes, we may be converting but pushing leads from getting leads, I should say. But if we're not converting them on the website, then it's pointless.
Yeah.
So I think it's super important to be visiting this stuff and making sure that you are staying on top of it, even if you're using an agency.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you're paying, if you're running ads or you're sending out emails every week or every month or, Google ads, Facebook ads, even if you're doing like organic social media and you're engaging with influencers, whatever you're doing, you're spending time and money on these marketing efforts.
Yeah.
And if you're sending people to a website that converts at like 0.5%, then you're kind of wasting so much money. You know, what I would say is invest in the website, get it to operate at like a 1.5%, which doesn't sound like much, but that is quite a lot. It's like a 3% improvement rate, 3 times improvement rate, right? Yeah. So what that can do, you can convert 3 times more people visiting your website. If you can be increasing the conversion rate of your website, obviously all of those marketing efforts are going to be doing so much more and you're going to be getting more revenue or more leads as a result. Yeah,
and it's just super important to make this part of that marketing strategy.
Yep.
Cool. That was awesome. I think key takeaways from this episode, it's just to track and constantly revisit it.
Yep, totally.
Because like I said, it is something that's sort of like, we'll get it done, get the website built, and that's it. So I think it's really important to maybe put it in the diary or in the calendar, and just again have like a quick checklist and run through these quick checks that need to be done if you are managing this yourself. Now we have started an Instagram for Inflection.
We have.
I can't remember the tag.
It's just Inflection.
Oh, there it is. There you go. It's just Inflection.
Yeah.
So give us a follow on Instagram.
Please.
If you want to see those daily business tips. And we don't just talk marketing, but we're talking about all things business essentially. So give us a follow on Instagram. We'll have a link in the show notes as well if you did want to follow us and like all of our posts.
Yep.
So get onto that. Now, we've also set up a free community in a new platform as well. We were using Kajabi previously, but now we're using Circle.
Yep.
So if you do want to get in on this free community where you can chat to like-minded business owners, follow the link in the show notes and you'll be able to chat to us as well. We'll be in there to answer questions.
Yeah, absolutely. And we share resources. Daniel just shared cash flow spreadsheet, which is really important. We drop a whole bunch of free resources in there for you as well.
And you did the email marketing stuff
email
too?
marketing stuff. Yep.
Get on it. Free templates. We love templates.
That's it.
Awesome. Thanks heaps, Zara.
Thanks, Jordan.
Thanks for watching this video on the Rask Network. While you're here, don't forget to like and subscribe so you can get videos each and every day on business, finance, investing, and so much more.